Good morning, Commissioners. We are live. Over to you, Chair Harrington.
Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, so it must be February 3rd. Yes, it is, according to this sheet of paper. Welcome to the Washington County Board of Commissioners work session. This is Chair Catherine Harrington. We have Commissioner Nafisa Fai online. Commissioner Jerry Willey is excused for a couple of weeks. Commissioner Jason Snyder and Commissioner Pam Treese are here with me in the room. So our first item on the agenda is the quarterly management report. Over to you, Ms. Angie.
Good morning, Chair Harrington and Board of Commissioners. I'm pleased to share the latest quarterly management report with your board. There is not a PowerPoint presentation. What I'll do instead is just walk through and present some highlights in the quarterly management report, and feel free along the way if you have any questions to just jump in and ask questions. As a reminder, these reports serve to highlight the ongoing work of the county, showcasing major achievements and challenges being addressed along the way. I will refer to page 4 of the report, which is a highlight of some general government activities. First, let's start with facilities. 3 projects are on schedule and within budget. Those are winning words in the ears of facility, fleet, and parks. And that includes the Community Correction Center. Those improvements are scheduled to be completed in April. Law Enforcement and Justice Services building in September. And the project team does continue to focus on minimizing impacts to staff who are currently working in these facilities. These are not new facilities. These are improvements to existing facilities. Also, the public, community members that are served within these facilities, and also just general county service delivery that occurs in and out and around these buildings. So over the next 3 months, we are confident that we will have reach the completion date milestone of December 31st, 2026. The reason that's a milestone is ARPA was one of the funding sources for these critical facilities, and we do need to have the funds expended at that date. I'm going to highlight 2 names, and there's many other leaders within the county that are behind these 2 individuals. Faiza Noor, who continues to stay diligent that the county does not return any ARPA funds. So monitoring all of the projects that we have occurring, and Laurel Brown and team to making sure that we are on track and that we are very judicious about how we spend our limited public dollars within our facilities portfolio.
Ms. Angie, I don't want to interrupt your flow, but I did want to catch you before you moved on to the next topic. There are other facility improvements happening at the same time, but these particular ones are meaningful in that when Ms. Brown joined the organization and got to know, I recall getting to know the whole portfolio of Washington County facility assets, discovering that we had these major problems in our 24/7 public safety buildings, the 4 of them. So these are huge milestones. And on behalf of the board, I just want to make sure that we give appropriate, meaningful recognition to the incredible diligence that has been going on to develop the finance plan under your leadership and to execute to get these done. So I don't know specifically what to suggest, but I don't want us to lose the opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments as these projects finish up.
Thank you, Chair. I think there is an opportunity coming on this Thursday during the roundtable where there will be a focus on facilities and the multiple facility needs that we have here at the county. And so I just want to lift that up as an opportunity because you are absolutely correct. This is just one small portion of maintaining our existing assets. This is not even about expansion. This is maintaining what we have, and we do not have the financial structure in place to maintain what we have today.
I'd just like to add to that for the public that it also, what we're doing that we didn't do previously is saving the public money as we move forward by maintaining those assets. This is an appropriate key financial move for us as well. So
It is, and I appreciate you lifting that up, Commissioner Therese, and I'm going to wave the caution flag. Where we are at in facility, fleet, and parks from an operational model. So this is not the dollars that go into maintaining the capital infrastructure, but it's just the day-to-day maintenance. We are at a tipping point where we are losing the return on investment. There's a higher return on investment, no different than transportation and streets. Seal coating, overlays, maintain the life of a road, and that takes dollars. We are at that tipping point where if we cut any further into our facility staff, we will actually be losing that return on investment.
I certainly understand that. And to the chair's point, what I'm trying to point out here is that the work that is being done is critical to make sure that we're not in a further budget deficit moving
100%.
forward. And that's where my appreciation.
Minimizing our total cost of ownership
Exactly.
over the long run.
Exactly.
And increasing safety of facilities, because one of the significant improvements within the jail is the jump barriers, for example. So we need to continue to examine facilities so that it's safe working conditions in the jail, for example, for our staff and also our adults in custody. Any other questions? Well, the next item is ERP. I know your board has not heard me talk about our enterprise resource management system. Just kidding. But we are live. I've emailed your board recently that we're really at a critical juncture of still staff working in both systems, especially staff who do financial operations throughout the county. And that's it's in essence, you're working in two languages and having to learn the new language at the same time you're speaking the current language. And that's really challenging. However, the staff can continue to be committed to the future. Really proud that we did execute on payroll. Employees receiving their paycheck is critical. And that is where there has been liabilities with other governmental rollouts when payroll has not gone well. And so just appreciate the team having backup to backup to backup plans in case things didn't go well. We did have one issue with one of the bargaining units. There is a VIBA account that the county contributes to. The union was able to notify the county right away, and we were able to rectify that mistake. So that error in the grand scheme of things, of all of the nuances with payroll, is significant. Any questions on ERP? Office of Emergency Management is the next area. We have made great progress in advancing several operational plans designed to safeguard both our community and organization under a variety of circumstances. The role of emergency management has really changed over the last several years, not only with more frequent weather events, but there's other types of emergencies. Think of cybersecurity emergencies. Think of the two emergency declarations your board recently passed in November. So we are really working in complex times. On October 25th, County Emergency Management and City Partners hosted a countywide CERT training and exercise for more than 70 volunteers. This event featured a series of stations focused on learning, practicing, and refreshing CERT skills. So it's great to see those emergency management volunteers within our community. And I'm going to just pause there. There's lots of detail within in that report or update, so please let me know if you have any questions. Sheriff's Office staffing. After a comprehensive review of staffing levels and operational needs, the 9 positions requested in the fall supplemental budget deemed essential. So I want to take us back to the fall supplemental budget. That's when the Sheriff's Office knew that they would be at the need to request to have the positions reinstated. In working in collaborative partnership with the sheriff and the team, the sheriff and team feel they can wait until this proposed budget. So as presented to your board in the fiscal forecast, those positions will be included within the proposed budget. Sheriff's Office continues to make significant progress in recruitment efforts. The January 26 pre-academy class size being the largest incoming class since 2019. That's huge.
Big.
The projection is to be fully staffed with jail deputies about a year ahead of schedule. So the sheriff was just recently in front of your board with jail planning, and had mentioned just the progress. This is huge. I will say there's a connection point with the facilities improvements too, because we need to get those pods open, the improvements in the jail, so that those staff can be in those pods and working. So both of those investments are going hand in hand. Community corrections contact standards. I've been including this as an update in your last several quarterly reports. I will continue to do that. The start for the implementation of contact standards remains July 1st. Right now, the emphasis on department policies and procedures is being prioritized to enhance the service delivery and mitigation risk. I do want to just call out John Cook from the Sheriff's Office, Caitlin Barrows, who's the acting community corrections director, as well as Elmer Dickens within County Council, who are working in really close partnership. Having sound policies in place on arming is critically important. And I don't have the number in front of me, but there are several policies that we need to have in place. And those policies need to have alignment with Sheriff's Office policies. And then there is also the implementation of training and having a sound training program. Really appreciate, once again, that partnership so that we ensure both continued safety for our community, our community members we serve, as well as our staff. I'll move on to land use and transportation. We are continuing the work of the Urban Services Framework in partnership with Beaverton and Tigard, as well as almost all county departments and identified statutory service providers, which includes roads, law enforcement, sewer, stormwater, parks, to develop information about the cost of providing services to urban unincorporated areas. I just have to say this is actually a difficult task when you have multiple entities, entities using different ways to describe services, different ways of calculating costs. So just really compliment the team and also the set of consultants that we continue to work with through this process. We did have a meeting in December, a technical memo that we provided input on, and we will be moving that forward to have briefings with your board coming up, and then ultimately having a work session too.
I want to share that last night, as a resident of Beaverton, I attended one of 3 forums that the city is having about its sustainable fiscal situation. Their staff did a tremendous job. There were a couple of people there that were, there were questions from multiple people, but there were a couple of particular ones that were really diving into the style of municipal budgeting and trying to understand that better than, say, private business funding. But there was one resident that was particularly underscoring. He lives in the city, but just across the street from him, same kind of houses, but they're in urban unincorporated Washington County, and trying to better understand what it means for those residents that they're not getting the same level of services that he has as a resident. And the way he was putting the question, it wasn't trying to justify what am I getting for my city taxes, but rather, how do I make sure I'm appreciating what it is I have being part of the city, which is really refreshing. And staff handled the questions very, very well. So it was just sort of refreshing for people to make sure they're advocating that they're really proud of the placemaking that the city does and the value that they're getting out of that, and just trying to develop their own vocabulary better.
Thank you for sharing that. The next LUT focused update is regarding CPACE. I'm happy to announce that LUT has processed the largest financial assistance program in Washington County to date, and that is to $25.6 million to Cedar Brook Senior Living Community in Tigard. So that is showing the work of CPACE in action and the investment within community. So just want to appreciate Stephen and team, and specifically Adrian Chalet in that work. LUT has also completed 2 major transportation improvement projects. This includes Phase 4 Springville Road and the Main Street Banks Road Cedar Canyon Road intersection improvement program. And I know through Friday Facts and just the consistent LUT information and our social media, I know your board is updated on that. However, I think it is important to bring this to life because through our braided funding sources, through that fund transportation, we need to remember that this is a core service that the counties provide to ensure that we do have a multimodal transportation system, not to serve just Washington County today, but into the years to come. Now I will move on to Health and Human Services. I would be remiss if I did not include the CAFA grant within this quarterly management report. I know your board is well aware of this, just as recent as your work session and your January action to approve the grant. However, this was a significant milestone and incredibly important for us to continue behavioral health services here in Washington County. I will then move to a new area, the medical examiner facility. As a reminder, the funding for a study was included in this current fiscal year's capital improvement plan and budget. You will be getting a presentation on this on March 2026 this year. However, I did just want to lift this up for awareness because this will be a significant topic item that I would put in the category of the new facilities, not necessarily even expansion of service, because this is a required mandated service for the county. So this is, think of it, jail expansion, courthouse, medical examiner. What's been interesting as a staff member sitting in some of these planning meetings. Think of a medical examiner facility as a hospital grade facility. And so that is the type of facility that we're talking about here. Staff will be coming back with what are short, medium, and long-term options for your board to consider in March. Moving on to WCCLS. We are in the process of developing the intergovernmental agreements, also more commonly known as IGAs, with our partners. And this also includes phase 2 of the library funding and governance project completion, and phase 3 is underway. As a reminder to your board, and I know you don't need reminding of this, within our WCCLS system, there's many partners and significant community need for resources. Thank you, Chair, for highlighting the revenue discussions that Beaverton is going through, the need for resources and providing resources to community, especially when our libraries serve as a front door to government and government services is incredibly important. So we will continue to keep you updated on this progress as we move forward. Also within your quarterly report is a status check dashboard. I won't walk through that unless your board has any questions. And with that, I will conclude my quarterly management report and open to any questions or comments.
Any questions or comments, board members?
Just to thank you. Keeping us up to date and making sure nothing's falling off the tracking system.
I'll say it really helps me to have everything pulled together in one moment in time, as well as the POR table to help refresh my brain on the road ahead. So really, really very helpful. Thank you.
I do want to just compliment Julie Craze, who is my executive assistant, who really makes this possible and helps with the tracking and getting all the information from the multiple departments. I know your board doesn't interact with her much, but she's a really valued asset of the team.
Valued team member.
Yep.
I really appreciate the narrative. So thank you. And thank you to Julie as well.
All righty, we'll move on then to board and leadership communication and formal agenda item discussion. First, let's go to the agenda items. We have the Housing Authority Board of Directors. Any questions or comments on things on that agenda? Okay, then on to the regular business agenda. We have 4 items on the consent agenda: the Planning Commission appointments, 1 public, excuse me, I went right by the proclamation. Commissioners each have a section of that proclamation to read. Is everyone all set on that?
Yes.
And I assume that we will project the map. Great. And then we have 1 public hearing. And that's about it. Any questions or comments on today's agenda?
Could I ask what our signups are?
Other than the email that was sent?
Yeah, I think that there was supposed to be some.
Is there any update to the signups for public comment?
The only 2 well, there are 3 additions, Jill Latray, Mary Hokiopoulos, and Dale Feet.
So what we need to know is we have 2 different sections.
I see.
So how many do we have here? How many do we have here?
We have 1 comment at the first 2-minute section, and then there will be 4 for the second 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll get who they are at the meeting, certainly. So, okay, we have 2 draft letters for our consideration. The first one, let me make sure I'm referring to the agenda. The first one is with regard to the West Side Trail US 26 overcrossing grant. being sought by the Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District. Any thoughts, comments, questions on that letter?
I'm in support.
Yeah, and support, no concerns.
Yep, me too. Yep, okay, we're all supportive of that, so we can get signature on that. The next one is to support the emergency repair of Lee Falls Road due to a landslide. This is going to the City of Hillsborough Water Department. And for those of us who've been to the Cherry Grove Slow Sand Filter, we know the road was barely passable before, so this is a really bad situation. So any questions, comments, or
This
thoughts?
letter is to them and it was requested by them, correct? Am I tracking that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. No concern.
That's
Okie dokie. So we'll get signatures on that and get those sent off. Okay, next leadership communication. How about if we do the board first today? Who would like to go first?
I can.
Go for it.
Last Thursday, I spoke at the launch of the Spot microtransit project. Actually, this doesn't happen very often, but I had someone come up and ask me for the copy of my written speech. Someone from ODOT that thought that it was well put together, and I want to compliment the staff. I did heavily edit it, but they did the original writing, so I don't want to take full credit for that, but that was good. I did meet with Mayor Hu from Tigard over the weekend, and then last night the Region 1 ACT meeting happened. I had provided this group a sort of a preview to the fact that the state is trying to move towards a 10-year CIP process. One of the tasks for the ACT last night was to try to identify the top 3 to 5 investments for Region 1 Act to provide to the OTC. And just so you know, there was a movement forward on that. These are not in ranked order, so these are just a list, but I think it's worthy of you at least knowing what they are. So in all of Region 1, ODOT Region 1, it's the I-5 Rose Corridor Improvement Project, TV Highway investments in support of Bus Rapid Transit Project, Sunrise Corridor Phase 2 in Clackamas County, the historic Columbia River Highway State Trail completion, which is kind of in both Hood River and Multnomah County, and then a bunch of arterial safety investments, which we have some specifics on, but those are the top 5, and wanted to just let you all know that that did happen and is moving forward. There will be some additional work to put some other things forward that are maybe not quite as significant and may not happen quite as quickly. And the other, I think, important context here is that doesn't mean all those projects are fully funded.
yeah.
Those are the prioritization that we're asking the OTC from our region to sort of try to continue moving the work forward, whether it's planning, what are the next steps and what can be accomplished. So that's what's going on with Region 1 ACT. Tonight I'm going to be at the Tigard City Council, both for my sort of every 6-month check-in and dialogue with them, and then also for the Clean Water Services State of the District and State of the Partnership discussion. Thursday we got a roundtable. Friday we got an all-day work session. I am also going to be meeting with Clean Water Services staff at their request to discuss the general manager recruitment after our work session on Friday. And then next Monday, I'm going to be at the AOC Public Safety and Veterans Steering Committee. And then in the evening, the AOC legislative reception. I am planning to try to attend that. In between that, on next Monday, I have a one-on-one with Metro Councilor Rosenthal. He wants to talk about a couple things again. He likes to get our input sometimes on some of the things he's working on. So that's what I got.
Cool.
Go next. The last Wednesday, I had a good check-in with our county auditor. I appreciate the time that we spend together. It brings me up to speed on what she's looking at, as well as what the reports are that are coming forward. I had my check-in with Rick Shanley. Also that evening, I had an impact meeting where we got a future vision update and information on supporting the regional economy and an SHS reforms update. I want to go back to the supporting regional economy because I think it's important if you have a moment, especially in relationship to things that are on our plate right now. If you look at what Metro's intention is around economic development as a partnership. So I would encourage you to look at that. It's, I believe it's positive, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page in relationship to the direction that they're taking or intend to take. I had, let's see, Thursday was Grandparents' Day. That was fun. On Friday morning, I was at the Governor's Metro Regional Solutions Advisory Committee meeting, and we're still struggling with all of our priorities. And I believe that we are going to be focusing on the Willamette River. It comes forward, and I think some of us keep pushing on things like workforce development plans, behavioral health, but the Willamette River and the associated opportunities for economic growth keeps coming back up. So I have a feeling that that's where we're going to land, as well as other agenda items. I also had a call that afternoon with State Representative Mari Watanabe to discuss economic development issues. It was a good conversation. I appreciated the fact that she took the time. And I did talk with our GR team about that as well. Tomorrow, I have my first AOC membership committee meeting, and I'm looking forward to that. And then on Thursday, after our roundtable, I'll be at the press conference for the courthouse funding with Judge Guptill and our county staff. And I believe you're going to be there as well, Jason, or no?
I haven't heard about it.
No,
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
know that
I'm
I
wrong.
don't know that I can't be.
No, sorry, I'm wrong about that. And on Friday, I'm looking forward to our all-day Clean Water Services Board meeting. I also, or work session, sorry. And I just want to let you know too that I need to take Monday off of this coming week. So I will not be at the legislative committee and I will not be in Salem, but I will be out of office on Monday.
No worries. There's plenty of us to go around.
Although we're dwindling.
Temporarily.
Temporary.
Commissioner Fye, over to you.
Thank you, Chair Harrington. Good morning, everyone. Last week, I had a great tour for the Oregon Food Bank with few of Washington County delegates in terms of our community. It was really a great tour, and I will send the anti-hunger package at the state level for this short session to the to our government relations and to the board, and I would like us to see what we can do to support that package as well. And then last week, I also had a really great discussion about TriMed reductions, proposed reductions. And a city councilor from Sherwood was able to join in that conversation and really was very fruitful to both for Washington County and TriMed and what the city of Sherwood is trying to do. I too attended the Bonamici Town Hall. I thought it was very well attended, and it's always fascinating to run into community members and some of the trepidations and experience they're having in Washington County. I did my monthly constituent coffee last week, and it turned into a 2 constituent coffee, but same constituents, residents in Washington County, very well attended and interesting discussions. People come and express their concerns and some of the questions that they have. I do want to commend to Tanya, the report that you put together is very helpful and was able to share with some of our residents that report. And I do think that it provides a level of understanding that doesn't exist out there since there isn't a sort of a education focused on county 101 trainings and what does the county do and what does a county commissioner do in an aggressive manner. So very well done. Congratulations. And thank you for putting that together for everyone. I did my monthly town hall this week. Yeah, last week was very busy. I did my town hall and it was a specific topic on flock. And I'll continue to do one more in that topic and can share with you some of the presentation that we did in that town hall if you want. And then yesterday was the continuation of the immigration response coordination task force or group that Councilor Juan Carlos and I are convening. And this time we invited Isa Pena from Innovation Law Lab to sort of do a presentation of the immigration package that's being considered and have a sort of a deep conversation about what are some things that are moving forward and what's the conversation looking like in Salem. And finally, I want to flag for the board that the Behavioral Health Council bylaws require participation from a county commissioner. That seat has been vacant for some time. So I attended last week to ensure the council is operating in compliance. I intend to continue for now and was intending to bring this conversation forward at a roundtable because it just so happens that this week we will have our monthly roundtable and it's going to bring it to the board's awareness, but just to do a preview here. And that concludes my update, Chair Harrington and board.
I have a quick question, Chair. Commissioner Fye, on the flock town hall that you were describing, was the sheriff participating? Did she co-host that or engaged, or who from the county staff team was involved in that?
Good question, Commissioner Snyder. This is a town hall that I hosted as an individual commissioner for District 1 residents and anyone actually, in fact, that was available. We had a subject matter experts from Eugene's Eyes Off Eugene, Rob Sheldon attend and do the presentation. There were no county resources or staff utilized in that presentation. The presentation, the PowerPoint presentation specifically that I mentioned, sorry about the background noise if you hear that. The presentation I referenced earlier in my discussion was a presentation that was put together by Rob Sheldon, Eyes Off Eugene, and it's specifically focused on the flaw, what are the impacts to the community, and where are these things located. And then we really had a good conversation. It was over 55 people that registered to attend, and we had a standing room. A lot more showed up because others.
So for the purposes of time, Commissioner Fye, since this town hall, as I understand it, was done using county Zoom resources and your county affiliated town hall, if you could please send to the board, Ms. Angie and Mr. Barnett, the presentation that would be most helpful. And I'll just remind everyone that this topic will be at our work session on February 10th with the sheriff.
Chair Harrington, did I hear you correctly? You said that this was used by county Zoom link?
We, as county commissioners, have resources for our individual commissioner town halls, which is what you were describing. So the perception is that this was your county commissioner town hall as supported by Washington County. So that's what my explanation.
Let me clarify. This was a county commissioner town hall. You are correct on that first part, but it was not supported by county resources. So it was not a Zoom link utilized. It was an in-person meeting.
Okay, it still sounds like there's a conflicting message there, since you're offering this as a county commissioner. But for the sake of time, we'll move on. So,
Yeah, one last thing. I was offering the presentation to have, for the board to have visibility to the presentation. Um, just to have that level, if you know already what FLOG is, to have an extra, different side of a presentation. So that's all I was offering. And I'm still happy to send it to you, Alex. This presentation, there's nothing, everything is kosher. So there's nothing there that you shouldn't be able to see or share it in county.
are we ready to move on? Okay, for my 5 minutes, as many of us were invited last week, I attended the Congresswoman Bonamici elected officials meeting and then a portion of her town hall before I had to go off to another work-related meeting. Friday night, I attended the Attorney General Town Hall that was sponsored at Pacific University in Forest Grove, along with 3 of our state legislators, Senator Solman, Representative McLean, and Representative Nathan Sosa. It was a very interesting forum, and it was a topic of conversation at the monthly chair mayor's meeting yesterday. And a real benefit to that is that the Attorney General and these legislators had the opportunity to hear the frustration from some of our community members over the impact of the federal ICE presence in our communities, and the emotions that we've been hearing both at our board meetings, through our constituent emails, various community meetings, and city councils and mayors are experiencing that as well. I provided in this monthly chair mayor's meeting really a 2026 update with particular call outs on our WCCLS Libraries project, the jail and community corrections expansion project, as well as on community engagement. Also included in that was the general revenue options VRF engagement. And we had quite a discussion on the federal environment, and there was feedback that Oregon cities are really leading the nation, as cities are the closest local government, as counties are to on the ground services that people use each and every day. And really people are not seeing much state level disruption there. We'll see how that goes through the short session. I know that there are individual legislators. Some of the legislators are hearing feedback from community members, but their work has not been as affected as those of us here at local government. Thursday was an all-day CDBG home application presentation day. I know Commissioner Treese, having been our rep for many years, is very familiar with this. But the presentations really underscored how our work as the County Board of Commission, particularly with access and opportunity and protecting federal funding, is real towards the number of vulnerable community members, thousands upon thousands of vulnerable people here in our community, from youth all the way through every aspect of adulthood. And I just can't stress enough to you how doing that work has been vital. Because it's loud and clear that those investments make an impact in people's lives and need to continue. So thank you for being exemplary in the work that we do together in partnership with our staff in service to our community.
And how important it is to protect those funds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thursday night, I provided remarks and stayed for the Oregon Destination Association annual meeting that was held here in Washington County. Commissioner Snyder and I are working as the committee of two to bring a proposed rule of law R&O to you at the February 24th work session, where we'll have a full board. And I've also been doing work in association with County Council on the CAO contract, which will also be coming to you on that February 24th date. Now I'm over time, so sorry about that. Okay, Ms. Angie, how about you? Oh, sorry. I will not be able to attend the Tigard City Council meeting tonight after all, because I'll be representing Washington County at a state legislative Ways and Means hearing. So sorry about that.
I'll be there.
So just wanted to, and nobody from CWS knows unless Grace has told them. They know. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Angie, over to you.
Yeah, so usually board, when I make an appointment, you get an email and then there's an introduction. So your email and introduction are coming at the same time today. So this is going to be a surprise, as I know you've been in the board meeting, so you haven't seen your emails. So just really pleased to share that Eric Olson has been appointed as the new Director of Assessment and Taxation following, oh, I still can't say it, the retirement. Eric will begin his new role on February 14th. Before I continue to talk about Eric, I do want to just highlight, and I believe I've said this before, but just the deep appreciation to Joe for leaving this place a better place than when he started. And I think part of that signal is just his thoughtfulness to retirement and wanting to have this short but overlap in place so that he really hands off the baton. And that's just a huge signal of just a dedicated public servant.
And so we're all on the same page. Assessment, taxation, records, and elections.
Yes.
No shortchanging the big
yes.
portfolio.
We have to remember all divisions. So a bit about, we've talked enough about Joe. So we're going to move on to Eric. Eric has been with Washington County since 2003, starting as a rural property appraiser and advancing through several leadership roles, and most recently serving as appraisal division manager. I'm truly grateful that Eric has accepted this appointment. With 22 years at Washington County, Eric brings historical knowledge, practical experience that will serve our community well. I've already sang the praises of Joe Nelson, so I'm not going to continue that, but really I expect nothing less than Eric continuing to demonstrate the professionalism and leadership and careful approach that we've come to just truly value and appreciate in assessment and taxation, records, elections. And part of departments, there's many departments, and I'm going to quote Commissioner Willie, he likes to get to the and. Within assessment, taxation, records, and elections, sometimes there is not an and. Sometimes it is, this is a statutory process, this is what we need to apply, and it takes precision and accuracy each step of the way. And so just thank you both for your leadership over the years with the leadership of the many staff within the department, because that precision and integrity is incredibly important to community confidence within these statutory required processes. Any comments?
Yeah, good morning, Chair Harrington, Board of Commissioners. For the record, my name is Eric Olson, current appraisal division manager, soon to be director of assessment, taxation, records, and elections. That is a long title. But anyway, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to formally introduce myself to you all. And I just also want to acknowledge the great work that all of you do. And I really look forward to working with you in the near future. And I also want to acknowledge Joe for all the mentorship over the years that he's provided me, and also thank Tanya and Marnie for this opportunity. I'm really excited.
Thanks for stepping up to the plate.
Thank you.
Yay.
Congratulations. But I do want to make a public statement here that I, as well as many others, know it may be remote, but we know where Joe lives.
I have his number.
I bet Dan Forrester does too.
We all welcome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Joe, thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So when is your last day, Joe?
It is February 27th, the last work day of the month.
Okay.
So,
And you'll be receiving an invite. We're having a gathering to wish Joe farewell. I think it's on the 26th. Yes, 26th. You'll receive that invite. But I just want to say thank you to Joe, Marnie, Kyle. I'm one of the ACAs, and I work very closely with this division or department. It's within my portfolio. This was a nationwide search, and we had some really incredibly strong candidates. And so some of that is credit to Joe and the foundation that he's built, and the leadership that he has built, not only in his department, but in the state. And I am thrilled to be able to work more closely now with Eric, and really look forward to the wonderful things that he'll do, carrying on the tradition that Joe started. So we are in good hands.
yes.
Ms. Angie, for that national search, was there like a job brochure or a job description or something you could share with us?
Yeah, Marnie can share that with the board.
Terrific.
And I will just give some kudos to HR. This was a national search led internally in our HR department, and they did a wonderful job. They did, as well as many consultants that I've worked with in other departments. So we don't often get to share how wonderful HR was. And I also heard from candidates that they really felt supported, and great communication, and we got a great pool of candidates. It was a very tough decision. Tanya and I had a lot of heartburn, but in the end, we are just thrilled with our choice.
Terrific. Great. Well, job well done, HR. We hope your ears are burning.
That concludes my update. I'll just do celebration today.
Perfect. Alex.
Morning, Chair, Commissioners, excuse me. So just a quick positive update for your board. Happy to report that County Counsel's office recently hired an attorney to serve as our housing attorney. So this is the attorney that would advise Molly Rogers in the housing department. That position was vacated upon the retirement of Jackie Saito this past year. Ryan comes to our office, and this is the really good part, from Clackamas County, where he currently serves as the housing attorney. So Ryan comes to us with a wealth of experiences.
The last name?
Ryan Hammond, excuse me.
Thank you.
Wealth of experience regarding supporting housing services and the housing issues that affect our Tri-County area. One additional note that's somewhat germane to this, as we started the hiring process, someone mentioned to me, a number of years ago, we had one attorney that covered both our human resources office and our housing department. And I went, how is that possible? Because anecdotally, like, that doesn't seem like one person could do that. It must be the Michael Jordan of providing legal advice. Well, I went back, as you may or may not be aware, we track our legal advice in 15-minute increments. And I went back and pulled some of the data from our system, which is called ProLaw. It's not the easiest system to pull data from, but I found something you might find interesting. So in 2020, our office billed 294 hours towards advice for our housing department. In 2025, that number was 948 hours. So, of course, in the interim, supporting housing services went into effect, and that probably contributes to a lot of it. But the reason I'm highlighting this today is just to highlight why we're so excited to get Ryan, because it's critically important to have somebody in that job who has a short on-ramp, which he will have, because he has a lot of the background. And then also, I love using this opportunity to highlight the folks in our office. Courtney Duke-Dreesen, who you're very familiar with and who everyone knows how great she is. She also serves as the backup housing attorney, which means right now she is serving as the housing attorney, and that work is falling on her shoulders, and she's doing an awesome job advising that department. So just want to give a shout out to Courtney. If you see her in the hall and are so inclined, give her a pat on the back because she's doing awesome work taking on that burden. And that's all I have for you this morning.
Yeah, it is interesting to look back and see how the affordable housing work with the 2018 bond measure and then the SHS homelessness work, COVID, then the SHS funding, really building out a whole new system. But here we are in 2026. It's a brave new world with Metro's SHS reforms. So Ryan and Commissioner Willie, as our point person with SHS, have their hands full.
And that's the great thing is Ryan comes with all that historic knowledge, so it won't be new to him.
Yep. That's great. And so folks, just to highlight, it's February, which means we do not need to turn to the interim CEO, Rick Shanley, for a CWS update because we've now split off to different meeting sets. So this is very much the Washington County only work session. And our business meeting will be Washington County only. CWS has their own meeting days for work sessions and business meetings. So for information there, please check out cleanwaterservices.org. Okay, so that's it for board and leadership communication. We will pause the work session now and come back to the work session at 1 o'clock with a few different items there. And in 10 minutes, plus or minus 10 past 10, we will reconvene as the Housing Authority Board of Directors and then go to the business meeting. Thank you. And 10.